and welcome to the 1950s, a time full of post-war celebration, the baby boomer generation, and eccentric fashion statements. My name is Mackenzie Cook, and today I'll be discussing the sensation of the musical craze of the 1950s. The 1950s were full of many firsts. First organ transplant was done to Ruth Tucker of his kidney in 1950. The introduction of transcontinental and colored television in 1951 was introduced to the general public, and the discovery and study of DNA in 1953, to name a few. But in the world of music, one of the largest firsts was about to make waves that will last for decades. In 1951, the world was introduced to rock and roll. The exact date is hard to pin down, but the impact it had was clear to see. But what classifies as rock and roll? Early rock and roll differs immensely from today's, but many similarities still shine through. Rock was born from the mixing of several pre-existing genres, mainly blues or country, or at the time it was known as hillbilly, and swinging jazz, with a few others sprinkled in. According to Rolling Stone, several of the most distinctive and influential rock and roll performers of the mid-50s were making music that could not, by any stretch of the imagination, be defined as a continuation of pre-1955 R&B. Rock was new and vibrant, and while it found a place among a few of the older generation, the young folks or teenagers of the time loved it much more. And while it sparked joy and was quickly welcomed by some, others saw rock as something unholy and not suitable for their children. Some rock and roll songs do tend to lean towards slightly more sexual theme or hints of rebellion against authority figures, but if actions like these were taken, it's not the song or artist's fault, it's those who perform these actions to be held accountable. Even with these less than kind words towards the newly emerged style, it didn't put a damper on its steady growth. If anything, the harsh public opinions just helped spread the knowledge of these new artists and their songs. Any publicity is good publicity. There were several artists that started their career in rock and roll. According to digitaldreamdoor.com, of the 100 top rock and roll artists of the 1950s, the top 10 were the Platers at number 10 with their hit Only You, the Clovers at number 9 with Devil or Angel, Buddy Holly and the Crickets at number 8 with their song Peggy Sue, Ray Charles at number 7 with Hit the Road Jack, Billy Haley and his Comets at number 6 with their song Rock Around the Clock, the Everly Brothers at number 5 with their song All I Have to Do Is Dream, Little Richard at number 4 with Good Golly Miss Molly, and at the top 3 we have Chuck Berry with his well-known classic Johnny Be Good, number 2 Fats Domino with Blueberry Hill, and possibly the most well-known even today, number 1 Elvis Presley with several well-known classics, but most notably Jailhouse Rock, A Little Less Conversation, and Can't Help Falling in Love, that had countless renditions in several other styles done by several other artists. The musical world was due for a change, and these artists and their support of their hungry for more fans delivered. But who was the original group? Who started the craze that swept the nation? Who made rock and roll? The supposed origin group that gets the title of first on the rock scene was that of Jackie Brinston. According to The Guardian, the most widely held belief is that the first rock and roll single was 1951's Rocket 88. Written by Ike Turner, sung by Jackie Brinston, the saxophone player from Turner's backing band The King of Rhythm, and recorded by Sam Phillips, who later went on to found Sun Records and discover Elvis Presley. But whether this is the true first rock song is hard to claim and even harder to prove, with several other bands claiming to be first on the scene. Regardless, it changed the way of music forever. This bright, new, and vibrant style took the world by storm and is responsible as a parent to thousands of subgenres that are prevalent even today. All of those that had broken off from the musical archetype that was rock and roll of the 1950s. Rock and roll was a major first that helped several artists and bands make their mark on the world. The impact that rock had, and still has today, is vast for an art form created 7 decades ago. I hope this speech has been informative and that you can go ahead and find your own rock songs of the 1950s, pick out your favorite. I hope this has been informative and that you enjoyed. Thank you.